here. I've been now in Kazan for 2 years, working with Mountains University and building a group on games development inside of here. And found out about the conference that's going on. Decided that we'd like to come down here and give kind of a talk on some introductory games kind of work, some of the work that we're doing within my lab, and some of the areas that Anopolis is kind of moving into this. So, kind of a title of Introduction to Games Development. Some of you may be wondering what my costume is, and wondering why I have on such this. This is actually my real doctoral robe from the university that I graduated from in Guelph, Canada. So you may notice that this has the whole academic stole. It's the height of fashion of religious monks in the 17th century. So we've kept that kind of tradition going on. So this actually is not a costume. It's a real thing. But usually when I wear this kind of on special occasions, on graduations, on some various things like that. And when I wear it in Russia, I always get the, "What are you doing?" So here it's nice because I can come in and nobody goes, "What is that?" Okay. So, go press that on. Okay, so to start out, what I want to talk to you about, that's kind of just a little bit about me. This is the work that we're kind of doing in our lab to start out. So we kind of did some work on, Minecraft, on understanding humans. Why do they play Minecraft? Why do they make such actions within it? On kind of understanding that through play traces and gaming traces. We do a lot of work on kind of intuitive design. During our selection process for students, we even had them going through and doing some exercises on board games for that. Looking at kind of like how do we look at representations of expressions? How do we create levels that meet with certain user demands? How do we build better NPCs that better act like humans and can think? And if you're playing Fallout 3, like our gentleman right over here, then how do we know whether he's a good person or a bad person? We would normally think of like karmic systems, but how could we actually make it so our NPCs have memory and know what we've done in the past? So that's kind of what we're up to, and I'll show some other things on that throughout the talk. I want to kind of start out with why, the who, what, where, why, when sort of system in terms of this. And to start off, who's playing our game? What is the demographics out there? Because they are changing quite a bit. Russia is also in a very strange state within this. So one is that the new media of games, of video games and that, the player base right now is aging. They're no longer just for the young. If I was to do this talk 20, 30 years ago, it would basically be, I would have to, put on more of like the school teacher uniform than the university professor uniform for it. Players are aging, yet there still is demand for this new media, for video games, for board games, for that. And gamers are also moving more into mobile platforms. They're moving away from the big box PCs or the consoles, if you're looking at North America. And I'd say there's right now 3 major demographic groups that are being targeted. The one is the hardcore digital gamers, which have kind of always been there. These are the people who, grew up with Pong and have, followed all the way through all of them up to Mario's. You have the casual digital gamers, and this is a vastly expanding group. These are the people that are playing, Clash of Clans for 5 minutes on their cell phone, that pick up, do some thing, put it away. Right? The aging group, especially when we're looking at the elderly right now, are a lot of this demographic, this casual gaming set. The other big one is board gaming. Board gaming is expanding year over year, crazy. And I'm not just talking like Parker Brothers, I'm not talking Milton Bradley, I'm talking a lot more of like the Euro games that are coming out. I just was given a game that was produced in Russia by the organizers here. So this sort of stuff is now becoming a rather popular area for people to move into. This is one such board game cafe. I think Russia is actually ahead of the time cafes and that. Yeah. So this is one inside of Toronto, Canada, that is probably built within the last 5 years, and these things are now springing up all over the world, where you can go and you can rent out a table for a certain amount of time, grab a board game, and play it within the cafe, and they have people there to teach you. This is a little bit of a quiz that I did for one of my classes. And you can see that this is kind of your casual set, and look at our 10 hours and more, 7 to 8 hours. So you have a very kind of two means in terms of that. Some other things that I've learned kind of about Russian students is that notice that a lot of this is coming on desktop, laptop, computer very high, smartphone very high. I've noticed that within the Russian market, consoles are not a big thing. And I think that comes from a few different places. The cost, the expenditure, it's a single purpose device. Not an area that I would say a Russian game developer would want to target as the console market, and but should move for more of the desktop, laptop area and smartphone. And I think that's better in a way for developers, because the development market right now in terms of your Nintendos, your Sony PlayStations, and your Xbox, there's a lot of large upfront costs. You have to go and get a developer's kit, you have to go and get a developer set for it, you have to get the licenses for it, very expensive. Desktop, I can right now boot up Unity, I can boot up Unreal, I can probably get on Steam Greenlight, and I can move into that market. Smartphones, Apple, yeah, there's some restrictions on their side. Android's a little bit more free in terms of that, but it's more of an open market for developers. That's good from the one sense of anyone can move into those markets. That's bad from the sense of also that anyone can move into those markets. Okay. So, age and play right now. So we have also a bunch of different mental and physical challenges with an aging player demographic. And these distinctions are becoming way more important in terms of the marketing and the structure of games that are available. So I decided to take Mario. Everybody familiar with Mario? Yeah, okay. So Mario made his first appearance in Donkey Kong, and if you were 15 when Donkey Kong came out, you're now 50. Okay? Moving up, Super Mario Brothers, 45. Super Mario World, 40. Mario 64, that's about me there on 35. Super Mario Sunshine, 28. Wii, Super Mario Maker came out just a couple of years ago. Okay? So you can see that Mario is bridging generations at this point, bridging about 3 generations in terms of its spread. What does this mean? Demographics from the Electronic Standards Association from 2014, they said that 60% of their respondents played game in 2014. Average player age is myself at 31 years, and the average purchaser is 35. 31 years old is your average player in terms of that. That's shocking to me when I see that. Only 29% of game players are less than 18. Right? Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! You're not weird. Okay. Okay, but what does that say for violence in video games? What does that say for storylines? What does that say for mature themes and situations? Right? We can market with stuff like that, right? Gamers over 50 years of age have increased 32% in 1 year for that. Okay? So we got this aging player demographic, and people are in on that. According to the Electronic Standards Association, this is USA demographics. I don't know what it looks like in Russia. I don't have those numbers. This is a great quote. People of all ages play video games. There's no longer a stereotype game player, but instead a game player could be your grandparent, your boss, or even your professor. Okay. So let's take a look at one of the studies of age in video games. This is a really interesting study. Came out about 2 years ago on Battlefield 3 in terms of that. Play style, showing your age. So one of the largest studies to date for these types of gameplay traces. Nearly 10,000 people responded to this call. That's a huge amount in terms of gameplay traces. They were put through, they handed in basically all of their gameplay statistics, their play traces. They had a general questionnaire, this is your age, sex, location. They did a personality test, which is kind of having to do with the big factor 5 in terms of it. So they control for personality. What are they doing for that? So big 5, the first one is open to experience. So you would be open to experience if you enjoy meeting new people. They'll select a restaurant that they'll never ate at and one that they've been to times. Okay. Conscientiousness. I always follow a schedule. I always double check work before submitting. This is something that my students need to do more. Extroversion. I'm comfortable around people. I'm the life of the party. So depending on how you would score, do I like, do I dislike these statements, then you can come up with kind of a personality picture of someone. Agreeableness, I make people feel at ease, I sympathize with others, and neuroticism, which they've kind of changed because, I don't know, it's a fine word. I get upset easily, I worry about things. And so they'll score it on what's known as a Likert scale. And a Likert scale is basically if you've ever got a phone survey, you've probably had the I strongly disagree, I disagree, no opinion, agree, strongly agree. And then that plots you inside of this space, of the ocean space. Once we have your position within the ocean, then we can start to look at how you act within a game world and then glue it into that. Okay? So ocean is one of the, I think the other one probably a lot of people have heard about is the Briggs-Myers. Briggs-Myers has a bit of a difficulty with scientific work and study in that it changes far too drastically. So if I ran Briggs-Myers today, I came back a month later and I ran Briggs-Myers, you probably will change your position within the space. The ocean has been found to be a little bit less
Fluid?
Flexible.
yes, thank you very much. Flexible, variance inside of that. So it's better for kind of scientific work. So Briggs-Myers is nice if you're trying to kind of create characters for a role-playing game. There's a few different things. I think Extra Credits had a wonderful show about that. But it's not so good when you're actually trying to do scientific study of something. So ocean tests have become kind of the new black for that. How do older players differ when they ran this study against all of these things? So over about 10,000 people. Older players kill and die less. So our risk factors change. As you get older, you don't kill as much and you don't die as much. Yeah. You die of other causes, right? Older players score less on non-objective play measures, so they play the objective. So kill-death ratio is not something that an older player will look at. What they look at is, did I win the game or not? Did my side win? Older players also focus on winning for that. They play more.